Hey there, this is my first Art Made for Us video, and I've called it that because it's all about creating art which truly makes our little art hearts happy. I'm so glad I managed to say art hearts. Oh! And to show that even when we start from the same point, our individual creativity will always take us ricocheting off in so many different directions. And as a collective, we can enjoy that art process together and yet still have such individual creations at the end of it. I wanted to create a little space on my channel to be able to chat about arty things. Sometimes it's hard to find people in your in real life circle who you can approach. Maybe you're like me where you just don't want to bother them or like take up their time. So if you are looking for a really informal kind of art club where you can chat about an arty topic each time and access some fresh reference images, that's really hard to say, fresh reference images, then stick around because Art Made for Us is made for you. Each time I make one of these videos, I'll be trotting off to a different location and taking lots of photos while I'm there. I'll also be trying to make some art while I'm there, but if something goes amiss, and like the weather, and for some reason it's a bit tricky to make art on site, I'll be using all of my reference photos to get some inspiration when I get back to the shed here, and I'll make some art from it here. Either way though, I'd like to invite you to join in with me and make some art inspired by the session too. I'll be sharing the photos I take in each session on my website, which you can access using the password makingtogether. It's linked in the description in this video, so if you'd like to draw along with me, you can pause at any time and hop on over to find a reference image that inspires you. So let's go exploring in the very first Art Made for Us location. This is Marsh Farm Country Park, which is a walking route settled beside the River Crouch in Essex, England. At the time I went to wander, it was a very weird weather day, with moments of warmth where the sun poked through, contrasting with strong winds and soft grey light as the clouds gathered. The grasses bounced in the breezes, the boat chains clinked, and the pathway ahead of me unwound into the distance. I am out and about today, as you can see, out in nature. That's a fun texture. Look at that. That's just fun to look at. I feel a bit silly because I'm talking to the camera, and even though there's seemingly no one around, there could be somebody over that. There's another path up there. I don't know whether there's anyone up there, and they might just hear me waffling along to myself as I'm going through the hedgerow. It'd be like a bush is talking to them, which would be weird. Look at the lovely pinky tones on these reeds against the green. Aren't they nice? I'm hoping the camera picks it up. I can't really tell because the screen is so dark because the light is so bright. Okay, I don't know whether this is going to show up, but I've just found some nesting swans. Let's see if I can zoom in. Is that as far as I can go? I think so. Can you see them? There's some tiny babies there as well. I don't know if I can put my... Oh, so pretty. That was so lovely. I just saw a lovely swan sitting on their nest. I've never seen a swan on a nest before, and there was actually two swans who were together, so a couple with their babies on the nest. So nice. Just something I've never seen before. So it feels very special to come across a little swan home. Very cool. I I had taken with me my small sketchbook and pencil case, which had a handful of coloured pencils inside. When the wind wasn't playing with my pages, cheeky wind, I found a bench and sketched the view of boats ahead of me. I chose a random handful of colours and just doodled the general shapes, letting go of the need for it to look like something. To many eyes this will look unfinished, and that's okay. It wasn't intended to be, and not everything we start needs to be resolved. Sometimes we just need an outlet to practice in, a space in which to create with no expectations. Does anyone else get inspired by these kinds of things? Spiky forms rising out of the riverbed. I waffled on about these for ages when I was there, none of which was picked up by my microphone in the wind, but the gist was that when I look at this kind of thing, my mind pictures it as a fantasy landscape where a tiny community live. I can see tiny creatures on a Lord of the Rings style journey across the green hills, through the towering spiky rocks. Maybe that's just me, but I loved it. And I think that's why I was also enamoured by this view where the river trickles through this winding passage. I just loved the movement and the moodiness of it. By this time, the wind was crazy. But here's a picture of a sketch I did just before I started heading home. So back in the shed, I printed off a couple of my photos, and while I show you the art that I made from them, I'm going to chat a bit about the art ponder of the day, which for this video is, are we ever truly creating art alone? And do we want to? Do pop your thoughts in the comments so that we can all have a chat about it. Art practice is often a solitary process, and I absolutely love that side of it because I can go at my own pace, work through my own thoughts, manifest my own ideas, and figure out exactly what I want to say. But even if I feel alone inside the process, does that mean I am? My personal answer is I don't think so, because I see the root of my inspirations coming from all around me. If I'm soaking up images, scents, sensations, sounds, aren't I connecting to something wider than myself? If inspirations are coming to me from outside of my head, my creative process perhaps becomes a collaborator with the wider world. While I'm making choices about what my own opinion is, I am doing that by filtering through all of the thoughts and ideas given to me by others on the daily. We are every day taking in more information through the TV, the radio, the internet, and our experiences. And as we do, our opinions shift and grow. Despite how isolated we can sometimes feel inside our art, unless we are completely cut off from all outside influence, our creativity will be evolving alongside the rest of the world. On the other side of the ponder, even if we decide that, yes, we are creating alone, one interesting thought is to wonder, does all individual work become collaborative when it is viewed by someone else anyway? Does the viewer play a part in making the art what it ultimately is? I'd love to know your thoughts on that. As for whether we want to create alone, here's my experience so far. Before I went back to college as an adult to start exploring art more, I hadn't ever wanted to really show anyone my artwork. Why? Because of all those things we tell ourselves. It's not good enough, it's not real art, no one will be interested. But it was actually by sharing my art, by opening up that sketchbook and showing someone what was inside it, which made me start to feel more confident in the art that I was making. Not because other people were validating it with a positive comment, but because I realised I was able to own it as mine. I could point out the rough elements of it, but I could also point out what I liked. I could see the experiments, the ideas in my head, trying to find a voice on the page, and I realised that as long as I could see the value in it, it was valuable. I think it is a lovely thing to be able to be in your own private creative bubble, but to also have the knowledge that you are part of a bigger collective creative effort. By the way, if you're still listening and are enjoying the idea of art made for us, please consider hitting the like button so we can help the video spread to others who might enjoy it too. So as you can see, I firstly painted a watercolour of that wonderful windy waterway. I'm still learning watercolours, and one of the things I always forget, regardless of swatching, is which colour is which inside the pan, which means I often pull in a colour into the mix which I didn't quite intend, but which sometimes gives me tones I wouldn't have found otherwise. I like that unexpectedness. The colours in my painting all ended up brighter than my photo, but I still like it. I didn't really know what to do about the sky though, and after I had a doodle over the top with a black pen, that was a whim I didn't film, I ended up cutting out the sky and sticking the painting into my sketchbook to create a little pocket. And now I really love it. A few days later I took another one of my photos, this time one of the reeds, and used it to inspire a dry point print. I love dry point as a method, and it doesn't have to take a long time. With this one, I was intentionally very relaxed about the marks that I was making, and I didn't worry about being too precise. I just wanted to play. I took a few prints, trying different levels of surface ink on each to change the feeling of the print. I really love the scratchy quality of the lines, and I think it suits the moodiness of the reeds photo really well. The point of this art club is to feel free to create in whatever way you like, whether you draw, paint, sculpt, bake, sing, play, build, write. If you are stuck for a subject to create about, grab a photo and see where it takes you. I'm hoping if you enjoy this video, and as I make more, we'll end up with a sweet reference library that we can all dip into, and a gallery of art which shows a collective exploration. And if you don't feel able to create, the comments are there for us to simply have a good creative chat. Thanks so much for watching this video. I really hope you enjoyed it. If you have an arty question that you would like me to ponder for the next video, then do put it in the comments and we can have a chat about all of the arty stuff. And of course, if you would like to create something inspired by one of the photos that I took, maybe the same ones that I used, to see which different directions you can go, then do follow the link down below to get to the reference library. And if you would like to share whatever it is that you create, then do take a photo of it, send it to me by email, and I will pop it up on my website so that we can showcase our collective efforts. So for now, keep making happy, and I'll see you next time.